Hello everybody and welcome. Hopefully my voice comes in correctly for long distance because I'm going to sit by the bike and show you my new rack. So this is the 3-point Malloy rack system that I bought. This is about $35 you can get on Amazon. Supposedly it can hold 310 pounds. So it mounts from the seat post, it mounts from this, and then this point. But it does come with a little arm clamps with little washers to prevent it from scraping the entire arm. But since this bike has little mounting points, I basically just use the default screws and mount them into the frame that was from the frame points instead of using the clamps. The only thing I don't really trust the 310 pounds of ability. This I can actually sit on it, but I wouldn't say like for longevity because these screws are just sort of like indented to drive into the solid adjustment rod piece right here. So once these are positioned in, they're basically going to damage the paint coating here because you're going to have to drive these in really hard to make it so they don't move around. But these are hollow, this is hollow, and this inside is hollow. And the same thing for these slide positioners. These are the same thing as what these do. So basically these will basically drive into the bottom of the frame, into the top of it, to make it so it's hold steady. But yeah, there's supposedly one that also has quick release, like this has a quick release here for the seat post, but there's supposedly one that has, instead of the screw bits, they have smaller screw ends with little quick release levers. Just kind of pointless because you want basically a lot of the arms to be as tight as possible so they don't move about. But yeah. Still have my speed control in this little bag here on my frame in the middle here. And then I've upgraded the tread for the front tire. This is the rear tire tread that I'm going to put on later. But this is basically a Schwinn mountain bike tread tire. You can get these for about $15 on Amazon. They're not Schwinn specific. These are an off-brand that Schwinn sells, and they're Ivation, or not Ivation, but Ivia, whatever it's called, tread. So they're not going to say Schwinn tread. They're going to be from Innovea or whatever it's called, treads. That a lot of people have been saying, and that it's not Schwinn. But they're still great tread. I've had these kind of tread also for my Yukon Trail, and not a single puncture since I've been riding it on off-road and whatnot with my Yukon Trail, and that thing was heavy. Just stock with the Yukon Trail is about 80 pounds. So plus the baggage that I've had with it, plus the other bags that I've had, I probably added like over 30 pounds of carrying capacity on top of it, plus my almost 200-pound butthole on the bike. So quite a heavy bike, and it still managed to off-road and not have any punctures on it since. But yeah, so I really like these tread. They definitely are durable. They're not soft compound compared to other tread. These are actually much more harder rubber compound, so they will resist punctures better than a softer compound tire that mainly will come like stock or something. These tires that aren't stock are actually pretty decent compounds, but the PSI on them are only 40 PSI. These can accept 45 to 65 PSI. So up to 65, I feel about around 70 PSI. These things are phenomenal. So much more grip ability on off-road, and when on-road, they actually give you much more lift on the bike. They're not so like flat and make the bike kind of feel heavy. They actually kind of lift the bike up and make it roll much more easier. So that's the rear tread. I'm going to remove this tread with the rear tread later on. But I also bought a rear rotor for the hub, which I want to mention that the hub itself, you can't use the rotor. This rotor that I'm using is only like $10 for two. And it comes with a 12. It comes with 12 bolts, but the bolts are too long for the hub motor, so you will have to use the stock screws on the hub motor themselves to fit the rotor on. And then the coupler I'm using is just, this actually comes as a set with 2 rotors, 2 couplers for front and rear, but I kind of threw those away because I actually bought these couplers and the rotors for my Yukon Trail when I was trying to modify it for disc brakes instead of drum brake, but it didn't really work out very well. But so I kept the couplers and whatnot, but I kind of threw away the rotors themselves because they were kind of like. So yeah, so I have these on. They're not really attached to any brake lever because I'm not really going to use this for any braking power. I might just use these for a parking brake system for the front and rear system building. So they're just basically going to be for show. But like I said, this is a great upgrade platform because, again, it has the versatile ability to go with V-brakes if you prefer that, or with disc brakes, or you can go with both brakes at the same time. Like I said, for the front fork, if you change out the front wheel with either a hub motor or a new wheel with disc rotor compatibility, and you go with a fork that has disc rotor ability and V-brakes like I'm going with, you can use V-brakes. You can use a lever that has a dual braking system, so you can attach both V-brakes to that, and then another lever for dual brakes of the disc brake system, so you can have both wheels locked up at the same time, wish or whatnot. But yeah. Now I know everybody's probably gonna be like, "Hey, oh, if it accepts 310 pounds, let's use sit on that sucker." And yes, I can actually sit on this sucker. But like I said, I wouldn't really trust putting all about 310 pounds or 210 pounds or so forth on the rack with those kind of limiting screws. Because again, this entire piece that actually mounts to the seat post is hollow. It's not completely solid, so that may actually bend, or even the front end where it clamps to the seat post might actually snap off because, because if the support for the entire other points, if these other 2 points aren't tight as heck, like really tight, and all the support is just hanging off on this is just going to go and bow in. And if you're wondering why I have the key there, this is actually for my Yukon Trail. It's gone. I just had that there so I can put the key piece in my bag. So if my bag actually comes undone because it uses a quick release plastic bit down here, comes undone instead of stays locked in position, it'll snag on that and it'll tell me if my bag is about to fly off. But this basically has a multi points, little adjustments rack piece up here. So that allows for this to sit on top of it. So once this little this platform is locked onto the rack, this basically can allow for this multi-purpose bag to be placed on top of it. And it just basically, boom, flips in. Now it's all on. And it's got a plastic molded bottom also. But if you do add this rack and this bag, just the bag and the rack itself is going to add about almost 10 pounds. So kind of be aware that if your weight's kind of goober and you don't like so much weight in the bag. But it's pretty decent, especially if you want to use like this for a battery pack or such forth. This is a great kind of option to have, because then you can basically kind of drill a hole in the side of the bag right here in the leather piece, and then have your battery pack here inside the bag. Have this like little plug connector here, and then when you want to go, just take it off, whoop, walk away from your bike, come back, flip it back on, connect, and drive off. And for, like I said, for this bike, you have a frame-mounted, flush-mounted battery pack. And I'm also gonna use this little piece right here. This is a Velcro strap water bottle attachment. This is gonna be for a actual water bottle battery pack. That's actually the same equivalent size of power and voltage as this battery pack is. But it's going to be right here. So I will have 2 battery packs here, and if I want to go for a bigger battery pack, I'll be able to put it up on the rack. Or I can use, if I change out my handlebars a bit, my awesome handlebar bag that can hold about 10, 15 pounds, I believe. This is from Iberia also. It basically mounts to the center of the handlebars, and then it clips on the back right here. And there's a kind of plastic backing and also plastic bottom. And so I can put a battery pack, a small, like maybe 5-aught or another water bottle battery pack in the front if I want that. And then, like I said, another person talking about using solar panels. If I want to bring solar panels and a little portable battery pack, put it in there. Put some 20, like a couple small little panels in the bag right here. Not like what the guy was telling me about, where, oh, you can buy like 200 watts, 200 watts solar panels and put them in the back and basically make like big giant tail in the back with solar panels. Not really my style or ability because I still want to function as a full-fledged mountain bike. So this is still going to go full-on off-road and everything and still take quite a beating. So it's still going to have a lot of shake and a lot of wiggle around. So I can't really make a huge tail like that or have like a big giant car battery on the back rack system because that's just not going to work. But having more battery power ability and then having that flexible charging ability with a small battery pack that's portable, but there, like if I bought like a Sharp 100 or a Goal Zero AC 100, I can put that in the bag here, recharge it from a Goal Zero Nomad 20 or 24 system, or two of those plugged in parallel, and then off-grid recharge the battery pack. The battery pack recharge the battery packs inside the bike or the water bottle system, which will take quite a bit, but again, you have that flexibility to charge off-grid without any issues. But you'll never be able to charge any of the components. Well, basically, you'll never be able to keep these topped off completely while on the go. So basically, like some people was talking about using solar panels, like 400 watts of solar panels, plugging them in the bike, and then running off of that. That really doesn't work. That's not going to work because solar panels, most solar panels from that is only going to run off 12 volts. These run off 36 to 48 volts. So 400 watts, that's only 12 volts. So take off 200 watts, you get 24 volts. Take off another, you're getting about 100 watts of 36 volts. Still won't be able to charge very much. So you have to use something that can charge 12 volts from a solar panel ability, and then bring up the voltage, and then charge the bike itself. But you're going to also deplete that battery very fast compared to what it's going to be charging in. So you'll never be able to recharge the battery, keep it topped off, and also keep your extra battery topped off and recharged at the same time as you're going, so you can have forever power. That's not going to work. But you will be able to have a portable battery that you can recharge from the bike itself and use solar panels. But yeah, so this is going to have a water ball battery, same potency and power performance as this. It's going to basically be the size of a water bottle, like probably 750 milliliters, I believe it's called, or LM, whatever it's called, in size potency. So it's going to probably stick it out probably about right here. But the weight will still be evened from the middle, and then I'll have my front hub motor with a thumb throttle, because the rear currently has a twist throttle. And then I'll replace the rear with probably a Bofang 350 watts cassette hub motor that's also geared. Both of them are going to be geared for better rolling resistance compared to gearless. That has not as great rolling resistance as geared motors do. But both will have disc brake compatibility no matter what, even though I'm not going to really use that. So like I said, I might turn these into just parking brakes systems. But then for the Bofang one, even though it'll be like 350 compared to a lot of those people saying, oh, I can get like 750 or 48 volts or something like that, guys. I'm going to stick with 36 volts at the moment for both power and performance, because then I'll be able to switch out from one or the other with ease. So it gives me that flexibility. And even though they're going to be low wattage, I'm going to have both dual systems, so that's going to basically give me more power in the entire bike performance. Even for off-road ability, even though the front is not going to have as much grip, the bike's weight is going to be more centered compared to having a big battery rack in the back. So that's going to give me much more grip in the front compared to having a battery in the back. So I'll have water ball, battery, frame, and the front hub plus the rear hub. So everything will be kind of balanced out each other in weight distribution. So it'll give me much more better off-road grip than usual. And with the rear motor, even though it's going to be only 350 compared to 250, which this is, it's going to be a cassette motor. So instead of 3 wheels, it's going to allow a cassette system. So I'll be able to switch out my chain and 3-wheel for a 9-speed cassette with a 9-speed glide chain. So that would be able to work with the new cassette that I would get. And then these I might replace with a Shimano Thrower 3x9 speeds chain rings. So that would be hyperglide, and hyperglide chain. So that would give better shifting capabilities and whatnot. Even though this is not going to have 3x such in front, it's only going to be a 1x because I'm going to remove the outs and the inner rings just for the middle ring. But it'll still give me the hyperglide chain ring system in it. And I'll still have my chain guide, so everything will still work out very nicely and smoothly. And I'll still have the nice Holotech system that this has at the moment. Which also brings me to another topic, is that I've read on another review on Amazon that somebody was complaining about that this Holotech is not very great for, well, he had a problem with it stripping out on the teeth that grip onto the arm. And I was thinking that probably the issue with that would probably be because you could actually end up putting too much spacers on this and causing this piece actually be more out than actually in for the entire drive arm piece. Because the drive arm is welded together for the garage. So if you don't have enough clearance on this arm, you might end up actually doing what he was having a problem with, because this piece is not going to have as much clearance to attach on this piece that has that teeth piece area. So with mine, I think my bomb bracket is a 69.5 width versus 68, which is standard to some bikes, to 72. This is Holotech, and this external bomb bracket that's Holotech is compatible with 68 to 72, but you need to do the spacing differences because it does come with 3 spacers, so you will need to adjust the amount of spacers you need for the entire bomb bracket. But yeah, so right now I only have theoretically 2. I only have actually 1 because my chain guide theoretically runs as a spacer ring. So I only have 1 spacer ring on this side. My chain guide is theoretically 1. But I had 2 on this side before, but I noticed that the spacing of the arm was actually attaching to this arm as much as what it should do. So the attachment arm piece that sticks out was actually much more closer to the drive side than actually sticking on here. So it was on the bolt to the inner bolt piece than towards the outer bolt piece. So after I took a spacer out, and then put the external bond bracket back in, and then put the arm back on, then this had much more clearance to actually be able to grip onto that rod. So you want to make sure that you have that rod actually sticking as basically this way as much as possible. That way you basically screw this preload down as much as you can before it starts squeezing the arm into the bracket itself. If it just has only a light amount of screw ability, then you have to basically remove the spacer so you get much of that. But other than that, yeah. So mine has the rod sticking pretty much to the second screw, tightener screw. Another thing you want to know about this is that this is not the Shimano Holotech. This is a clone kind of system, which means that it doesn't have the kind of spacer brackets that's in the middle, so you can actually end up over tightening this too much. So just tighten this just enough that this arm is not going to wiggle around. Don't tighten it so tight that it's going to like be super squishy, because then you might over tighten this and you might actually bend or even destroy the teeth inside the arm itself. But yeah. Oh. And then after I'm done doing all my other upgrades, my dual hubs and dual battery pack, and then the Shimano stuff, cranks, I'm actually going to make this super bright in technology ability. Like, I'm already going to buy a electric air pump, so that's going to be great. Have dual inner tubes ready for in bags and whatnot, so just in case anything happens. And this is going to be like a superior Night Rider bike. So I'm going to have like probably attach some lights down here or on the back of the rack, down the back of the rack area, so people can see the lights there. And while I'm back, I just use these kind of bell lights, but I might buy some other lights that have some different attachment point ability. But for the rear, I really don't need it that bright for the rear lights. I do still want to make a actual brake light and turn signal backlight system that is kind of a wired system versus wireless, because again, I have the brake light all the way in back versus like where the default kind of braking system is basically around the seat post. So the wireless range for the other ones that have like a wireless remotes don't really go as far back as you would think. They only actually power equipment to the seat post ability before they start losing signal and ability. So yeah, I want one that's more wired kind, that way it can get better range and performance like that. And then my front is going to be amazing. Now, a lot of people buy these super like $1,000 kind of headlights, or these like $200 headlights that only last 2 hours. For me, on the other hand, I'm going to buy another one of these. This is a Phoenix 600 lumen outputs LED light. This can last about 2 hours on the highest, or basically while it's recharging, or you can use it on low while it's recharging, or even on low. This can last for about almost 3 days on its low setting. And that's about 50 to 100 lumens, I believe. No, it's 50 lumens. So another one of these and 2 of its bigger brother version that gives me about 1800 lumens on burst mode, or 12,000 lumens on the highest mode, which again gives me 2 hours of brightness. And those come with a remote, so I can go doot, doot, doot. And instead of mounting them to my handlebars like this, I'm actually going to mount them to my new fork that I'll get later on in the future. And I'm going to have it like this. I don't know if you can see that or not, but basically it's going to sit on the actual arm of the front fork. So they're going to sit like this, pointing down a bit. So I'm going to have 2 of these on top and 2 of the bigger brothers on the bottom. And the power cable wires for the burst mode up on the top on either side. And that way I can burst somebody. If anybody's going to be like pulling out in front of me, I just like, just like, hey, what is it? 36,000 lumens on you. Boom! Like it'll be, these will be on low, and the other ones will probably not even be on. Or even if they are on, they'll be on low. So all of them will be set to low. And like for city driving, I'll have them on just like 45 to 50 lumens, all of them, which will last long. And then if I have like some car coming from you or something, just like, beep, 36,000 lumens on your face, bud. It's like, oh, you couldn't see me? Let me do this. Boom. Now can you not see me? It's like the car's bright. It's like, boop, boop, boop. But it's like more than 3 times powerful. But yeah, the back will have turn signals because you really don't need front turn signals for a bicycle, at least. I mean, you could still get turn signals for the front, but it's kind of a little bit tricky to get that. I mean, you could probably get handlebar turn signals. There are ones that come in a pair, or basically 2 that are screw-on ones. They have their kind of a screw-on handlebar grips, and then they have like AA lights that go through the middle of the handlebar piece, and then kind of like twist on to stay on the handlebars. And then they have little buttons they can push to turn the turn signals or brakes, automatic braking signal, braking indicators, and 150 lumen LEDs on the front. Now you're probably wondering, why would I go with 4 cheap lights, or I mean like 2 cheap lights and 2 big lights, and only running them on the lowest setting ability with that. Even for night riding, I would probably not even run them at more than medium power, because battery life is the kind of topic I like exploring and so forth. So my time-wise for being outside of flashlight power would be around 6 to 7 hours of performance. Anywhere less is not really that great. So having them with a longer longevity of lower power ability but have decent lumen output is actually pretty decent. And then, like I said, for the burst ability, I can turn those on for a couple seconds, see what's going on, or run them on high power mode throughout the entire ability. And having more than one of the same or so forth actually gives it much more lumen output, because they're stacking each other. So 1800 lumens versus 1800 lumens, combine them into the same sector, you're actually increasing the brightness of your zone of looking. So that's why you have more lights instead of having one big powerful light that have that equivalency. If you stack a bunch of small ones, you can stack them on to a certain projectile area and get the same amount of power output at a lower amount of lumens, but higher battery life. And then I might turn this solid piece for a zoom adjustable arm. I might trim these instead of, because the zoom only allows a 25.4 millimeter length thickness arm for handlebars. This is a 31. So I might go with the zoom ability, which actually is kind of the same thing as this. This is the Pro Max version. The zoom is pretty much exactly identical to this, except this is a quill stem version, but the zoom is basically similar to this, but as for threadless. But this is much more reliable from the other ones, I believe, because when you're putting your force, when you're putting all of your body weight on the front handlebars, your force is actually putting more force down onto the handlebars, and I really don't trust the ones that have the locking ratcheting system on the sides. So this one, on the other hand, has the ratcheting system on the bottom, the same thing as the zoom. So this means that it basically, this little lock nut will prevent the entire thing from going downwards. So I can put all my weight on this and it's not going to move, compared to having the ratchets on the side that might end up stripping or anything like that and end up going downwards. Because the ratcheting for those are actually a lot more smaller than on this. And having the ratchet locking pin on the bottom compared to on the sides will give it a lot more better performance and keeping a lot more weight distribution on the bottom. Even though it's going to use a smaller handlebar tube system, it's still going to be quite reliable. So for $35 for that, and then smaller diameter aluminum forks of about like $20, $50 for that. Pretty decent. Same length bar system, maybe even more length of that, depending on what's such. Yeah, so that'll allow me to adjust my handlebars up and down and whatnot. And it'll still be threadless and all that jazz. And then my seat post is aluminum, like I said, about the battery pack and such forth. I can run the battery cable from the front hub or such forth through the inner frame to the cranks up the seat post piece, up through the seat post hole, and then either to the rack or down to the battery pack without it being too obstructed. Ugh. And then the seat post, I'm going to go with another more thinner kind of seat post. I mean, not seat post, but a seat that's more thinner in the front, more of a kind of a standard all-around bike seat post. I mean, not seat post. I keep on saying seat post, but seat, which will basically allow me to pedal more better than having a cruiser seat on. Because with the cruiser seat, this kind of style of seat actually makes it kind of harder to get more power pressure into your pedals than with a more narrower kind of seat style. So this might be comfortable for long rides, but that's just for sitting down and such forth. Doesn't give you more power performance in your pedals. So if I want to pedal instead of using power, this would kind of restrain me from doing that. So I'm going to get one that's kind of in between compatibility, where it has a more narrow design, but it's got some nice good padding to it, so it's flexible to sit down and actually enjoy the entire seat ride. So power, riding, and everything. And like I said, this has been this is a great upgrade platform, as I said, and what I'm doing. So you can do everything, whatever you want to do. And if you have any problems with the entire bike, like I said, you can just remove the frame and take all of your parts that you used on frame to a different frame, and boom, there you go. I mean, of course, you won't have your flush mounted battery pack, but you'll have every other components that you can switch out for the bike onto your new bike and or your new frame on or such forth, and go like that. And with the 3-point mount system for the rack, it has these clamps, like I have mentioned. They basically clamp around the arms. So I'll show you here. So if you do get a hardtail, again, that doesn't have post points, like these, and that does pretty much exactly the same. And then you just screw those down. Well, obviously the other way, screw those down, and then this top piece would be for the mount of the arm itself. And there you go. Or if you get a full suspension bike, well, not sure about a full suspension bike with a 3-point mount system. Mainly with a full suspension bike, you kind of want to just go with a seat-post mount, seat-post rack, or you want to get a rack that doesn't have the seat-post attachment. Or maybe, theoretically, you can actually probably use the same rack, since it attaches to these two other points compared to with just the seat post. You can probably do the same thing, like basically like this, but cut off the seat post piece from like where, like in the front of it, just like basically hacksaw it, and then attach the flexible mount points to it, and there you go. And then you have a flexible flexible rack system that you can adjust anywhere, however you wish, compared to those kind of fixed mount ones. If you have a full suspension bike, you can actually do that. That's actually pretty decent. Or if you just want to use this without the seat post pieces, without the arms, you can do it that way. It has the front arms and the back arms, but you don't really need to use those if you don't wish. But again, you're not going to have that full poundage support ability like that. So I would never trust having 310 pounds on it, but it's still there. And for my bike, the reason why I'm also going to put lights on the front, on the arms, is so I can use this. This is a front handlebar bag. And so if I wanted to have an extra battery, either from the rear rack and also the front bag, I could put this like that, and it sits on the back of the front ability like that. So this bike can have cargo out the wazoo of beans and all that good stuff. And that's also allows me by having the lights on the arms of the fork instead of up here on the handlebars, because if I want to put this on there, that allows me to have that up there without any kind of friction from the flashlights. So I have more cargo and ability to have much more space. And for people that wanting to go around off-grid or such forth, cargo like this out beans, you can bring a battery pack like a Goal Zero AC 100s or whatnot, something kind of portable like that, with like a Nomad from Goal Zero, like a Nomad 13 or 14 or 20, and put in your bag. Like bring two of those, put them in your bag, and recharge those. When you get to camp, you can recharge the battery that you're using to charge the bike itself. So, cool off-grid setup for whatever you want to do with, and my entire purpose of dual motor systems, better operability, and whatnot. Everything will work. And guess what? Some people were telling me, why buy this and upgrade it when I can buy a bigger bike that's like there's $3,500 bike that only has a single motor, higher components and everything like that, but only disc brakes. So why would I go with that? I mean this instead of those. And the reason is because I get to upgrade this, learn all my components and everything, for one. Two, I like the V-brake style of system. And three, it's cost cheap up front, and I can upgrade as time goes throughout the entire lifespan. And I get dual performance. Also, another thing is when I'm actually done equipping this bike with dual hubs and dual battery packs and whatnot, and everything else currently I have, this is only going to cost less than $3,500. So for the same amount of money that I can get for a single motor from like Giant or something, I got this bike for the same amount of money, dual power system, rack support, V-brakes, and disc brakes, and upgraded forks and everything, and all the stuff I want, for the same amount of money that I would pay for a high-quality bike that the components I don't even want, and disc brakes that I don't really want, and even the style of the bike itself, I might not even like. And only having a single system for that much money. So yeah, less than $4,000, I can get a bike and upgrade to as great as a bike that costs so much up front, and upgrade this slowly and have better ability. And if I ever have a problem with it, like I said, for basically everything I'm putting upgrades on, the only thing that probably won't be upgraded is the frame. That's the only thing I'll need to change. If I have any kind of problem, it'll be the frame. And if the frame goes out, then I can just buy a new frame with a different frame style or such forth. Kind of conduct a different kind of style of mounting my hardware, of my rack and my battery, and go with that. But everything else, I won't have to throw away. Or basically waste $3,500 dollars for a bike that I'm literally not going to know one clue of, and it only has a single motor performance. Or even comes with quick release wheels. So, show the motor performance. Still workable. Rear brake. So yeah, like I said, again, this is a great upgrade platform for anybody. And if you do get it stock, the only two things I would highly suggest that you would upgrade would be to get probably new crank arms, so you can get the arms that have the removable chain ring, so you can get a replacement chain ring for that, and a chain guide. Other than that, yeah, after those, the bike is awesome, amazing. I mean, this thing is just super great. Even if it's in its stock form, it's amazing. It's really cool. I can't put that down as much as it is. I mean, it doesn't have a water ball attachment for the top tube or the middle piece, or even the bottom back right here. But I mean, you can kind of counteract that by putting these Velcro strap water ball attachments either on the bottom or the top, or right here in the middle, or you can have water ball attachments on the side right here, or such forth running on the bottom back right here. So you can have like dual water bottle, or like you can have these Velcro straps right here on this arm piece. Have like a pump right there, and then an accessory on the other side. I mean, it's super flexible. It's really awesome, and for $650 on Walmart, this is a great buy. I mean, you get pedal assist power performance, which I mean, you don't get throttle, but you still get pedal assist on there. But for upgrading purposes, this is like awesome. It's really cool. And since I'm just talking about having water ball attachments on the side, I might actually do that now with this. I might buy two more, put some more accessories on the side of the arms. But yeah, it's like really cool. So those are the current upgrades that I have on it. Next month I'll probably have the water bottle battery for more extended range and power, and then front hub motor for dual purpose. And then I'll work on the rear that. And after that, some micro adjustments for the lighting system, and a few more component changes, and yeah. So I'll see everybody later. Peace out, everybody.